was like one of those.
Yeah, man, we about to chin check you with this topic, man. This chin check is most definitely about a superstar in boxing. It is most definitely about Canelo Cinnamon Alvarez, man. It seems that him and Bivol, man, their unification fight, it seems to be having issues selling, man. And we here at CTB was had to ask the question, man, what could be the reason why a Canelo Alvarez fight not selling? And should he took the PBC offer for the other fights? And if he did take the PBC offer for the other fights, would he have the same issue? So those are three tough questions, man. I want to get your opinion on the first one. The very first question I asked, man, is what do you think? If do you think it's true? First of all, do you think it's true that ticket sales are struggling? And if so, what is the reason why you personally think it's struggling?
Yes, I think it is struggling. I wouldn't blow it out of proportion. If you looked at when the fight was first made, the tickets were way higher. And if you look at it where the prices are now, they're down like I would say like 30% from what they originally was. So normally when you bring the ticket prices down, that means they're not selling out fast. Now, do I believe that by the time fight night comes and the closer we get to the fight, that those seats will get sold? Yes, I do, but not at the price that they wanted to sell them at. So yes, it has been a struggle to push this fight. For some reason, we'll probably get more into it to the reasoning why the fight is not selling. But I definitely believe, yeah, the fight is moving slow, man, right now. I mean, maybe as we get close to the end of the week with the with the weigh-in, because the press conference didn't draw much hype either. Maybe we'll get more of a reaction out the fans to get more excited about it. But right now, man, it's been quiet, man.
Yeah, Canelo Alvarez is still the pay-per-view king when it comes to current boxers, in my opinion. Errol Spence is a close second. Deontay Wilder is also up there, I believe. Deontay Wilder has great numbers too. Those are the three big names when it comes to pay-per-view sales. Two of those three are on PBC. Canelo Alvarez got a PBC offer, in my opinion, with better fight options than a Bivol fight. While the Bivol fight is the more dangerous option, uh, I'm gonna be honest. To answer my second question I asked you, do you think it would have been a better deal if he would have signed the PBC deal? I'm gonna lead on to that. I'm gonna say yeah, because he would have got promoted. His fight would have been promoted on Earl Spence's recent fight last week with Ugas. But because they are not on the same banner, the zone had a problem. They had a real big issue with trying to market that fight in the midst of Earl Spence dominating Ugas. And now the Crawford and Spence talks are being real heavy. So he's getting buried under that. The zone is not moving the needle on Canelo Alvarez, in my opinion, when it comes to what I'm trying to say. They are not promoting him like Canelo Alvarez need to be promoted. They are going off the fact that he is Canelo Alvarez. He's going to bring asses to seats because of his name. They're riding that wave. I think they're going to be in for a rude awakening. They already are, from what the rumors are saying, because they're dropping their prices 30%. So they already are understanding their marketing scheme ain't really working right now. And PBC, love them or hate them, you know what I'm saying? They are what's running the market when it comes to the better fight options right now. And he should regret not signing that contract to fight Charlo, which was a winnable fight, and fighting David Benavidez, which is also a winnable fight. I think he's going to regret not signing that contract. What you think about that?
I'm gonna disagree with you.
Really?
I'm gonna say Canelo is the smartest man in the room, and
Mm.
this is why I say it. He getting 150 million dollars for the three
Plus.
fights
Yeah, plus.
for Zone to fight Bivol. I've been watching Bivol the last couple of days. We won't give our predictions today, but trust me, he picked the right opponent. Then he has to fight an old Triple G, a washed up Triple G, which he's gonna make easy work of. And then his third fight is gonna be probably anybody. You don't even know who his third fight is gonna be, but it's probably gonna be some European fighter that they gonna build up that he gonna wash in 6 or 7 rounds. So he gonna get these three fighters and make $150 million plus. Now for the zone, it's a bad deal because they probably not gonna get their money back. And it's almost gonna be the same situation that they had last time they gave him that huge contract that he got out of that he didn't even finish because they was losing so much money. So for them, it was a stupid ass deal because they didn't get him. They don't have the right opponents to bring in the revenue they're trying to get. But for Canelo, it was a smart move because after those three fights, and he finished those three fights by next summer, he can still get that deal with PBC. He still can go over there and say, all right, what are you offering? And he might get a little bit more money. He might get 120, 115 million dollars for 2 or 3 fights with PBC. So why not get the easy bag first, get those 3 fights out the way for 150 million dollars. And to me, I think the tougher road is going to be Charlo, David Benavidez, and whoever that third fight could be. Then Bivol, Triple G, and probably some hyped up European fighter. So I think Canelo was smart. The zone made it a dumb move because they were too starstruck.
I agree with you. I was thinking that third fight was gonna possibly be somebody like Anthony Yard or somebody like that, another European that's been beat before, because he's very popular over there. So I thought that maybe the Anthony Yard fight was coming up next.
Fight the Boo Boo, maybe. Maybe he gets that fight.
Boo Boo got injuries, man. He didn't make this fight because he had a shoulder injury. God, I don't know what Boo Boo's doing, man.
First second boxing.
Yeah, he got the worst luck in boxing, man. I kind of see your points when it comes to the zone. Of course, Canelo Alvarez is the businessman. I mean, he learned a lot from Floyd. Yeah, we see it in the way he moved, the way he pick contracts together, the way he get these fight deals, these lump sums of money for 3 fights. That's all Floyd. Floyd did that the last part of his career. So we see it. I commend him for that. But I'm a boxing fan. So of course, me being a boxing fan, I can't stand it. I hate it with a passion. I don't want to see I don't want to see you rob the bank that many times. You did it before. Like we've seen you rob the zone before. I don't want to see that same sequel. I want to see you fight these young lions before these young lions start to become older lions. You understand? So I want to see him fight the Benavidez and all them. But I will say this. It's gonna hurt him a lot more than he think when it comes to fan perception. I'm gonna be honest. Because they are already now linking his name to Earl Spence. I think while that could be the zone in the works, there could be the zone trying to ride Earl Spence coattails a little bit to sell this Bivol fight. There could be a little bit of that involved in it. There could be a lot of Earl Spence fans. You understand? Good point, right? It could be Earl.
I was wondering, I'm gonna let you continue, but I was wondering why Eddie Reynoso and Canelo would agree and put that information out and say, yeah, it's true. Yeah, we did have a Spence fighter. And I was like, why would you bring that up with the week you have a Bivol? But you made a good point.
That's what I'm saying. So they could be trying to ride the coattails of a popular conversation right now, which is Spence and Crawford. Because they see the zone is not really moving the numbers when it comes to fan interest when it comes to that Bivol fight. So that is one thing. But he wouldn't have to do that if he was at the fight. He was just at the fight this past weekend with Shakur Stevenson and Valdez. But he could not really promote his fight on that platform because guess what? It wasn't at his own platform. Why they will show him on camera because he's a celebrity. They're gonna put his face on camera. They're not about to put Canelo Alvarez having a fight with Bivol on the zone. Stay tuned. That's ESPN. ESPN not giving no free promotion to the zone. So he missed out on the bag. He missed out on promotion when it comes to that fight. So, in my opinion, when it comes to fan perception, it's going to be seen as a weakness. They're already saying that he's afraid of black fighters and out boxers. So if he keep picking these European style fighters, he's getting older. He's 31 years old, about to be 32 years old. Not only that, Canelo been fighting since 2000. We just saw this a minute ago on Box Rec. He's been fighting since 2005. He was 15 years old, so that's a lot of fights, man. That's a lot of fights. He already has slowing down a little bit. How long do you think he carry on with these level of fights before he actually had to be put in the ring with a young lion? Or you think he gonna pull the Mayweather? Because Mayweather, people was like Mayweather picking easy fights. Then he picked Canelo Alvarez, who was a younger lion, and embarrassed him. You think he's looking for that younger lion to do the same thing that Flo did to him?
I think you're making a good point. Like you said, I think in a year and a half, I think he's gonna go for those guys. But like you said, it's gonna backfire for 2 reasons. Because for one, he has bad knees and he's starting to deteriorate a little bit. Now you talking about another year and a half or 3 more fights with the zone before he get to Charlo and David Benavidez. And as you can see with this fight, is hardly any interest. So fans are starting, like you said, get turned off by fighting this guy. Not saying Bivol is a bad fight because he's fighting a champion at 175. He's a bigger guy. So by all means, I have no problem with him fighting the fight. But we're saying the perception of the boxing fans and fans that's casual fans. They don't know Bivol. They know a Charlo name. They know David Benavidez name or Earl Spence name. So I think that's one bad part of it. But the other bad part of it is what you brought to my attention is that year and a half, you're gonna have Terrence Crawford and Spence fighting. Somebody gonna win that fight. And they coming for his
Rematch.
crown. They're coming for his crown. While he's fighting Triple G for the third time, he's fighting Bivol and some another European built up guy.
Anthony Yard.
And Terrence Crawford is going to catapult in their career, and they're going to catch up with him. So while he's doing this, he's going to make a big bag, but the gap between him and that next superstar is going to shrink. So it depends on how you look at it.
Not only that, but the weight class they're beating, it's gonna be hard to meet. Like I said, Canelo Alvarez is coming off of Floyd coattails. They was in their manageable position where they can meet somewhere in the middle. Canelo was at 154, Floyd at 147. They made at 152. That's a lot more manageable. Let's go and say that Terrence Crawford win. Terrence Crawford coming up for 135. There's no way in hell he's going to make the 160 to fight Canelo Alvarez, no matter how much money they throw at him. Let's say Errol Spence win. They said what was the weight? 164 is the way the rumor was they trying to fight Errol Spence at Canelo and Errol Spence.
Yeah, 164.
Do you really, are you comfortable? Like, are you confident that Canelo Alvarez can make a 164 weight limit and be the same Canelo Alvarez against a young lion like Errol Spence?
Well, I'm gonna tell you the problem. Another reason why he should have took the fight and maybe took the Errol Spence fight now is because that's before Errol Spence could possibly beat Terrence Crawford. If he beats Terrence Crawford, then it's gonna be more pressure on Canelo to make that fight. Spence could come back and say, I ain't going past 160. And people be pointing the finger at Canelo, saying, hey man, that man coming up from 147, he's undisputed, he just beat the best fighter in the world. You can't beat the man at 160. Before the Terrence Crawford fight was made, well, it's not made yet, but I'm gonna call it. It's gonna get made. Before that fight was made, he had all the cards in his hand, so he could control everything. Like he said, they just had an interview yesterday. Eddie Reynoso said we'll fight Smith, but it's gonna be at 168. Yeah, now you can say that, but if he can beat Terrence Crawford, he gonna be able to call shots, and you gonna catch the backlash from the fans saying to meet the man at 160, which, like you said, I don't know if Canelo is at his best at 160 no more. They be cutting down that weight for guys up to 175. So, hey, he playing a dangerous game right now.
He is. I'm gonna tell you another reason why that you touched on it a little bit, but you didn't really touch on it. Yeah, while Canelo Alvarez is the bigger name in boxing now, he can call the shots. Like you said, the Terrence Crawford fight and Errol Spence fight is gonna be huge. But if Terrence Crawford numbers and Errol Spence numbers are doing this, and on the zone, Canelo numbers are doing this, they're going down and down. After a while, when they go to the negotiating table, they're gonna start like, comparing numbers. Canelo Alvarez can't go in there and be like, look what I did with Floyd. Man, Floyd holds a pay-per-view. That's not gonna hold water no more. Because you've been on the decline a lot with your numbers, especially if he go in here in the Triple G fight, does not sell what he thinks is going to sell, which I don't think is going to be that great. I'm going to be honest. I don't think it's going to be nowhere near the numbers from the first fight. I'm going to be honest. It's going to be a bust, in my opinion. I think a lot of people want to illegal stream that fight. If that's the case, and that fight doesn't do nothing, and then you got Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, they do 2 fights, and both of those fights, say the first fight do 850, and it's a close, hard fight, a great 50-50 fight, controversial win, either way, that rematch is going to do $1 million plus. And there's no way in hell you will come up with Triple G numbers and try to say, I call the shots, I'm Canelo Alvarez, you meet me at 164. Nah, bro. You see my recent numbers? Twice? Really 3 times? Ugas from this fight to that fight to this fight? You meet me. You see the numbers I do in Dallas, especially if Errol Spence win. You see the numbers I do in Dallas, Texas? You see me selling out this stadium? But what Canelo Alvarez going to say? He want to be so much pressure on him. And then he going to be like, damn, I should have fought Benavidez. It was an easier, I could have, you know what I'm saying, fought him at this weight. I was more comfortable at this weight. I could have fought Charlo at this weight. I'm more comfortable at this weight. Now I got to fight this young lion at a lighter weight.
A quick question. While you talking about Charlo and David Benavidez, being that we know that fight now is probably a year and a half away from fighting those guys, is that better for Charlo? I know at one time we talked about this fight, and I said that we both agreed that we thought Charlo would come up short against Canelo, and that we thought David Benavidez would be a better fight and we thought he could beat him, but we might would still pick Canelo to win that fight. A year and a half from now, does that change your opinion about who you think will win that fight and who will be favored in that fight as far as you?
Yeah, of course. A year and a half is a lot of time. That's number one. And who they fighting a year and a half is gonna make a big difference too. Cause I think the soft touch that Charlo got right now ain't gonna prove shit. I can't think of the guy's name on top of my head right now. He fighting on Juneteenth. That fight not gonna prove shit, in my opinion. So his opinion on beating Canelo would not improve or disapprove. Benavidez, if they fight each other, man, in that year and a half, whoever win between each other, I think will be uh in some cases, I ain't gonna say favorite to beat Canelo, but they would be most definitely favorite to be Canelo's best competition. You understand what I'm saying? So a year and a half changes a lot, bro. Especially if those two guys actually decide to fight each other. They just had beef at the Errol Spence fight. Was it the Errol Spence fight that was at? No, it was the what fight was they at together and they ran into each other?
That
Benavidez and Charlo.
Spence fight.
It was Errol Spence Ugas fight, right? So they are
Yeah.
that right there drew interest from the press. The press seen it. I'm pretty sure them seen each other face to face. They said some things that both of them wanted to put hands on each other for. That fight need to be next. That fight need to be there before this year is over, in my opinion. That fight should be on the card sometime this year. That's a possible fight, rematch fight, depends on how it goes. Depends on who wins. So Canelo Alvarez, man, I'm gonna be honest, man. Him playing his waiting game and waiting to see who's the next up and coming that he can fight is gonna hurt him more than help him. You anything else you want to add to this topic?
I think we covered it all.